Sundays, check every inch of the web to find the latest episodes. The boys are everywhere, and no matter what anyone may try, they are here to stay. If the name hasn't warned you yet, then consider this as your viewer discretion advised. No one can restrain these two idiots, so here they come unleashed upon the world, only to become as insane as reality itself.
You change that back this bloody moment. Yes, young man.
All right, hold on.
Do you know, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, you're obviously tuning in next week. This is obviously this week. It's not a time slip. It's not the dimensional slip. You know, you're not watching the time warp again. Yes, you ever done that? You've never done the time warp again. You ever done that dance?
That's a dance.
Don't do the time warp again. No, you never done the time warp.
That's a dance.
Aye, it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You ever seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
I'm familiar with it, but I've never seen it.
Come on, help me, guys. MD that's watching this, MD that's watching this next week. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, and there'll be people in the chat. There'll be people in the chat.
I've heard of it, but I've never actually seen it.
Do the time
I was like, I know Rocky's Tim Curry. I know that's all I know. That's all I know.
To the left, do, and then jump to the right, you know, do, and then do the pelvic thrust. I bet Elena can how to do that.
She didn't know who He-Man was.
What?
Did you not hear that? Did you not pay attention?
I wasn't paying attention.
You were comparing when Thorhan was showing himself. You said, he kind of looks. Don't. She may be wanting us on our show. Let's not fuck that up, Christopher.
Well,
you were saying that he kind of looks a lot like
He-Man,
and she was like, you went like, you never seen He-Man? She's like, no. She didn't know what you were talking about, Chris.
Can the guy with the big sword?
I know that. I know that. I used to watch He-Man.
So you've never done the time warp?
Jesus. Now that we had a pretty French woman excuse the fact that you like to jump all over the place and not finish a damn sentence, you're going to be even worse.
See, this is Elena. If you're watching this back, Elena will know what the time warp is. Come on, it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's a famous film. Dakota here has not done the time warp. That's that. See, when we all meet up, we'll have to have a disco or something like that. Still have discos. But anyway, we'll all have to have, let's do the time warp again, you know?
And here I thought we were going to talk about AI tonight.
What? I'm just getting in there. I'm just kind of lightening the mood.
Well, yeah, considering there was going to be somebody we were going to roast.
The artificial intelligence that's
taking over. If they use you to train artificial intelligence, that machine is going to break itself.
I think a computer designed after my brain would save the world.
I don't know. Here, ladies and gentlemen, there is a text-to-speech program out there. It's called 11 Labs. It is the most sophisticated text-to-speech program out there. You can remember not too long ago we had a who was that fucker? Lex.
Oh, right.
He was I know. Oh, I could have a few other choices. I'm just joking. Anyway, well, it was shortly after the Queen died. We had Lex and that other person on. What was his name? Oh God, I've become you, Brian. Right?
Oh, that guy that goes like. Is on his picture? He's got
that's Lex who fingers himself like that. That's Lex.
It's like
I'm trying to look all smart and sophisticated.
But Brian's got this kind of look.
Brian looks like he's pissed off that someone just shoved a stick up his ass. Anyway,
right.
11 Labs. You can actually send in a voice clip. Now, the reason why I brought this up is that a lot of these text-to-speech programs are getting very sophisticated. You look at Top Gun Maverick. That's how they managed to give Val Kilmer a speaking role.
Iceman.
Val Kilmer, for those of you who don't know or too young to realize, his voice. What was it? Throat cancer? Throat cancer that took it?
Throat cancer, smoked too much.
There you go. See, ladies and gentlemen, don't smoke. So because they took what they did is they took audio from the first movie, ran it through this AI program, and put it into Top Gun Maverick. That technology is readily available, and you can mess around with it for free. Or their lowest price plan is like $5 a month. It's been hitting the news lately. It's called 11 Labs. I mean,
we need to get Scooby Doo. We should get Scooby Doo in it to do like a voice.
Well, first off, I'm just gonna say this: when you start using it, it gives you a little heads up saying that it works best with American accents. Okay, American accents. So I thought, what would happen if I tossed this moron into it?
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to yet another episode of the Bold and Bonkers Show. On Saturdays and Sundays, check every inch of the web to find the latest episodes. The boys are everywhere, and no matter...
Now, granted,
I sound... I'm sorry for the Canadian people. I do have a Canadian... bit of Canadian, bit of American. I don't know what the rest is, but could you play that again?
Here, I'll put it in the background music folder.
What anyone may try, they are here to stay. If the name hasn't warned you yet, then consider this as your viewer discretion advised. No one can restrain these two idiots, so here they come unleashed upon the world, only to become as insane as reality itself.
Dear Jesus, that sounds diabolical.
You want to know what it kind of? You want to know what it kind of reminds me of?
What?
Hugh Laurie. When he goes to hide his accent for like when he was playing Dr. House. It's like you can tell it's the same person, but then I got to thinking, what would happen if we took the automatic captioning on like YouTube that always fucks up whenever Chris or especially Andrina are talking? We run that through the text-to-speech software, run it through this voice recognition. We could create a Scottish to English translator.
That's kind of like the Scottish activated voice lift, isn't it? The Scottish voice activated lift.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see where you're coming here. Go for it. Go for it. I think it'll be quite interesting.
I think it could actually. It became. Here's one thing. It'd be kind of like watching old Godzilla movies that are dubbed in English. Right? It could be like an automatic version of that.
Here comes the big dinosaur, and he's going to eat some English pie. Oh, jolly bloody hell, boy! Like that kind of thing.
Oh no, it's Godzilla. If you the lips would be way off, but still.
Yeah.
I think it actually could be interesting to see how that evolves.
I will say this in a serious point. It is very, very scary the way all this is coming together. I mean, look, the trailer you had planned, you done last night for Elena with President Kennedy. That was ridiculously good. Can you play that? Can you play
that? Actually, I have the full. I have the full speech up.
Oh, play it. Play it for our listeners.
So let's explain a little background. So last night for Elena, because she's helped us so much. In fact, if there's anybody who's helped us the most when it comes to helping build this show and kind of understanding things that are going on, it's her. So in honor of that, if you watched last night's broadcast at the time of this recording, I decorated for her, and she seemed to like it. So there we go. Mm-hmm. I wanted to try to get some sort of really interesting narration to the intro. So then I thought, there's allegedly been note cards found in an old safety deposit box.
That's right.
Belonging to President Kennedy, pertaining to a speech he was supposed to give. Now, for those of you who don't realize, President Kennedy, he was big into the UFO phenomenon and was trying to get the U.S. and Russia to work together in order to try to understand what was happening.
Yeah,
it's on a list of many things that is believed to get him killed. Before we play the quote-unquote lost speech, this is actually a known document that was sent by President Kennedy in regards to this program.
The
Take a listen to
following
this.
audio is a speech recreation.
Not that one. This one.
November 12th, 1963. Memorandum for the Director, John McCone. Central Intelligence Agency. Subject classification review of all UFO intelligence files affecting national security. As I discussed with you previously, I've initiated, redacted, and instructed James Webb to develop a program with the Soviet Union in joint space and inner exploration. It would be very helpful if you would have the high threat cases reviewed with the purpose of identification of bona fide as opposed to classified CIA and USAF sources. It is important that we make a clear distinction between the knowns and unknowns in the event the Soviets try to mistake our extended cooperation as a cover for intelligence gathering of their defense and space programs. When this data has been sorted out, I would like you to arrange a program of data sharing with NASA where unknowns are a factor. This will help NASA mission directors in their defensive responsibilities. I would like an interim report on the data review no later than February 1st, 1964. Signed, John F. Kennedy.
That memorandum went out 10 days before the Kennedy assassination.
That's amazing, though. Oh,
I know.
Sounds...
All it,
Can you give me a copy of that? Full thing?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to do something.
Do it afterwards. So, all it took was a 3-minute clip from his Rice University speech in order to create that.
Wow.
That's all it took. And you don't have to do any further training. That's how sophisticated just the voice ones are getting. I mean, you can look at all these AI avatar programs where, you know, people are coming up with cool profile pictures and it's causing a lot of controversy because apparently the AI was trained with other artists' works without those artists knowing about it. And some hints of their signatures are still in the product.
It's scary because then you could, in theory, right? In theory, you could write a new song, right? Mm-hmm. And in theory, you could take like an artist. You could just pick an artist out of the blue.
It's already being done, Chris.
Yeah,
it's being done.
So in theory, you could take like Queen, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. You could take him. I mean, you could take him, and you could, because sadly he's passed. He's one of the greatest singers ever. Yeah. And you could take a new song that's been written, and you could be able to put him in it. That would like Elvis too. I mean, that's just it's scary.
I mean, there was a big controversy in Hollywood not too long ago, where a certain director, I can't remember his name, was having trouble finding a male lead for his film. Right?
Yeah.
He was wanting to use the CGI magic that you could see in. It was the new Will Smith movie. What was it called? Where basically, if you watch the promos, it looked like modern Will Smith is kicking Fresh Prince's ass.
Was it Bad Boys 2? Was it? No,
that wasn't Bad Boys 2. Not that old. Basically, he played a hitman who was cloned, and he ended up having to fight his clone. Basically, the digital recreation behind that, you know, some of the Star Wars films, the programs they've been using to bring back some of the actors from the original films that have been long since dead.
Yeah.
It's getting scary. And like I said, I wanted to point it out because Lex was going on a tangent about people faking EVP evidence.
See, that is a
Think
good
about
point.
It. Oh, like I said, you can get to 11 labs for free. You can get access to it.
Yeah.
They've changed it to where you have to at least get the lowest price plan in order to get access to the voice cloning feature.
Yeah.
You could go through that, type in whatever you want that person to say, go into any audio editor to add just a little bit of static, and you would get what sounds like most EVPs.
So that's like basically, again, this has got to sound extreme, right? But that's like basically you could go to the Eagle's Nest, right, in Germany, right, and you could say, "Oh, I was doing a ghost hunt at the Eagle's Nest, and I got Hitler's voice," and he went, "I'm sorry," and that would like explode, and folk would be, "Oh my God, he's apologizing," and all that for the war and stuff like that, but it was just made up.
In theory, maybe in the next few years, like I said, as we saw from me using your voice, it's not perfect, but
No,
it's
I
getting
bet
scary.
the German accent will be quite an Austrian accent. All these kind of accents will be
A
difficult.
proper English accent, Canadian works pretty well, as well as most American accents so far.
It'd
Now,
be
mind you,
interesting.
Kennedy was from Boston, so
It'd be interesting that because you could do like David Bowie. We've got a special guest tonight from Beyond the Grave, David Bowie.
Oh,
He's here to talk.
Bowie would probably absolutely love seeing that type of stuff. He was really into these types of topics. But kind of going back to Kennedy here, like I said, there is allegedly a lost speech that was found. Now, Kennedy, he did keep note cards. And these were retrieved by someone else who was in his caravan, stored away because they were afraid for their life. Eventually recovered in a safety deposit box. Now,
I've just had a really good idea of what you could do with that. But I'm not going to say it on air. I'm not saying it on air because somebody will steal my idea. And I'll tell you after the show because I think this would be epic.
All right.
See, ladies and gentlemen. When we do it, we'll tell you.
I mean, listen, I got to admit, like Chris said, this going for like somebody like Kennedy, this is pretty good. You got to hear this speech.
My fellow Americans, people of the world, today we set forth on a journey into a new era. One age, the childhood of mankind, is ending and another age is about to begin. The journey of which I speak is full of unknowable challenges, but I believe that all our yesterdays, all the struggles of the past, have uniquely prepared our generation to prevail. Citizens of this earth, we are not alone. God, in His infinite wisdom, has seen fit to populate His universe with other beings, intelligent creatures such as ourselves. How can I state this with such authority? In the year 1947, our military forces recovered from the dry New Mexico desert the remains of an aircraft of unknown origin. Science soon determined that this vehicle came from the far reaches of outer space. Since that time, our government has made contact with the creators of that spacecraft. Though this news may sound fantastic and indeed terrifying, I ask that you not greet it with undue fear or pessimism. I assure you, as your president, that these beings mean us no harm. Rather, they promise to help our nation overcome the common enemies of all mankind: tyranny, poverty, disease, war. We have determined that they are not foes, but friends. Together with them, we can create a better world. I cannot tell you that there will be no stumbling or missteps on the road ahead, but I believe that we have found the true destiny of the people of this great land, to lead the world into a glorious future. In the coming days, weeks, and months, you will learn more about these visitors, why they are here, and why our leaders have kept their presence a secret from you for so long. I ask you to look to the future not with timidity, but with courage, because we can achieve in our time the ancient vision of peace on earth and prosperity for all humankind.
You got to admit, it even gets his inflections.
Yeah, I got a chill there. All my hair's really standing up.
I know. Just imagine if he was able to give that speech, what the world would be like today.
Well, if nobody assassinated him, it probably would have happened.
Then again, that's a show in itself. No, he was pushing for it. He was getting ready to blow the whistle off of everything.
Yeah.
He was warning about secret societies. He was going into UFO reports. He was trying to break the news.
That's absolutely amazing. How long is it in total, the full thing?
That was the full speech, or what was found.
What is it, about 2 minutes?
Roughly.
I'll get a copy of you after, because I've got a cunning plan. I'll tell you what it is after the show. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what it is. I know, honestly,
we gotta be careful because it is a historical record, and this is something
record. It's a historical record, but honestly, obviously it'll be marked as that. But trust me, it'll be good. I'll do something to it, and we could play it next week. Well, no next week, but the week after for everybody on here.
People will see it when they see it. I know there's people that aren't exactly happy with the new arrangement, but We'll do like we did with Elena. Anytime we have a major guest where we know it's going to be a good show, we'll still do the live shows to where you're not having to pay for access. But at the same time, we actually have a business to run. And
yes, but we do have a business to run. Came at means last night we had to make sure all the channels were our channels that were running through, so as we get the most, But it'll be repeated anyway for other people to watch. But I see we've got one person watching us. Who
yeah,
you,
probably on
strange sir?
Twitch. Yep, it's on, through the Twitch side.
Yeah. But other news, that's absolutely amazing. Before I jump onto the other news, that's absolutely amazing what you've done there, Dakota. That's stunning. Well done. Well done.
Like I said, when it comes to like falsifying evidence, that could have probably just shot every single paranormal investigator online right now.
Do you know? Imagine you had a time machine and you had to go back to, like, say, a couple of days after he'd been assassinated, right? And put that on like a tape of that period, because you could do it in this period, no problem. And say, and hide it somewhere, and somewhere would have found it. They'd be like, how was this made? How was this made? They would think it was totally true. Think about it.
Well, it was also a lot easier for information to be hidden back then.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, the technology used videotapes and stuff. I mean, no, even videotapes. They used film. I mean, that was just. It's just. I mean, I've still got my grandfather's Cine camera. You know the one how we were talking about the Bigfoot.
Yeah, you actually had to crank it.
Yep. And you actually get your cylinder. It takes the cylinder. I'll show you it one day. It takes the cylinder at the side, and you wind it like that, and you can just. That's when you play
that
it.
Classic.
There's no sound. Yeah, there's no sound there. There's no sound whatsoever.
Yeah, no, but I know, but that's for all the youngsters, even younger than me, that's where you hear the sound effect come from. That's what that is.
But anyway, talking about artificial intelligence, did you see that article? I don't know if I sent it to you or not, about what is it Boston Dynamics, or it was somebody like that in the United States. Anyway, they've developed. I don't know. You ever seen the Terminator movie? Everybody's seen the Terminator.
The self-repairing,
the second one.
metal. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I've seen the Terminator films. I will say that. Right. But yeah, I know which article you've done that, and I don't think that was here in the U.S.
No, was it no here in the U.S.? I'm sure it was. It was. You sure? Are you sure? No, sure.
I think that was. I'm pretty sure that was out of China where that happened.
Okay. It was the Daily Express that I seen it on anyway. But anyway, never mind that. It doesn't matter where it was. This is quite interesting. They had like a kid on jail bars, right? And there's a wee robot, the shaped robot, and it's some type of liquefied, semi-hardening, smart metal. And they put a program in it, and it basically just melted down, went through the bars, and come back up again.
I'm trying to find the news report, but basically,
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Basically, what they did is they molded a piece of metal to look like a little Lego figurine. They applied extreme heat to it. The thing melted through the bars, cooled it down, and as it was cooling down, this thing shaped itself back into the Lego man without any help.
Yeah, it's coming to you now. Right. It's actually, there's a video on. I don't know if you could show this or no, because it's through.
I guess. Well, we should have probably done a little bit more prep work beforehand. Technically, we could Telegraph. Because it. Technically, we could show it because. Technically, we could show it because it is a form of journalism.
Yes.
But at the same time.
Yeah, we'll have to be we'll put the link in the chat for you anyway, guys, because we just have to be safe, because there's that many people out there that want to report you for nothing nowadays,
Yeah.
But it's it's scary. I mean, I heard a thing last night. I mean, they've got artificial intelligence right now designing new artificial intelligences. And the artificial intelligences are designing new artificial intelligences. And they say in the next 10 to 20 years, technology is just going to explode, and I mean explode.
I mean, here, no, let's go to something that, if I'm not mistaken, is still active on Twitch right now. You remember we got to start talking about the
Are you talking about that?
our AI?
Yeah.
AI. Then I showed you that apparently someone trained an AI by having it sit down and watch Seinfeld episodes. Right.
That's right.
Now I'm kind of going through me and Chris's chats to see if I can find it. And it has a 24-hour, 24/7 live stream going of episodes, like knockoff Seinfeld episodes. Now, mind you, the clarity isn't the best, but
I actually watched a thing about that. There was somebody I was talking to somebody about that. Seemingly, it learns off the chat too at the same time.
Yeah, it watches the chat as well.
Yeah, it watches the chat
to try to get ideas on how to move forward with it. But damn, I mean, granted, the graphics to it, they kind of remind me of like old 1980s computer games.
Yeah, well, the Nintendo 64.
Older than that, man.
Really? Good God, man! We're going back to the Spectrum here, where you put the cassette in. I mean, see, I'm old enough, ladies and gentlemen. When I'm 41. Dakota's a lot younger than me. I know it's hard to explain, but anyway.
Watch me forever. That's it.
I can remember when you connected to the internet, it used to sound like a kettle. It went.
Yep.
And the thing would load up. I can remember when we first got internet in the house and it was 1 meg per second. That was fast.
That was fast back in there. I used to have dial up myself, man. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's no that. I mean, like, it's like Elena was talking last night. How she was saying it's a tool. Artificial intelligence is a tool, right? Now, it's true what she says, because you think about artificial intelligence. It doesn't matter how human it becomes; it will never have a soul. Right? It doesn't matter if it makes a robot exactly like a human, and then embeds itself in that human. It walks about. It looks like a human. It acts like a human. It will never be a human because it's not got a soul.
Which makes you wonder. We're kind of going to the rabbit hole here.
I know what you're going to say.
Now, what about we see this on sci-fi programs where the consciousness of the human is cloned,
then
put into the robot, and that is built as a foundation for artificial intelligence.
Right. Here's what I was going to go with. Right. Just listen to this. Right. What was if, right, a supercomputer out there, highly sophisticated, in 100 years' time, right, makes these human, they look like me and you, right, but they're robots, right? But it makes, when one of them dies, right, they go to heaven. But because that supercomputer's built a heaven for that to go to. Think about it. So maybe that's what it is like for us. Maybe this what roundabout is, right? Is a simulation.
I know,
right?
That's
and
exactly what they are.
When we die, we go to heaven or the afterlife, right? Which is really a simulation that's been made by a supercomputer that's made us.
Exactly. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes from. Is that if a computer can put something together that's sophisticated, to account for all the physics, anti-gravity, all this, if the computer can build it, how do we know we're not in the computer itself?
That's very true. Because then you could bring up the kind of Mandela effect and stuff like that. Maybe we're a copy of that civilization. We can remember a different copy. Think about it. It's actually quite spooky, this, ladies and gentlemen. I know you'll be sitting there thinking, And he was thinking, man, a simulation.
Oh my god, these guys are too weird. I am referencing a complaint we actually got on during the Elena interview. Yeah, there's been a complaint that a show called Bald and Bonkers is too weird and out there. Okay, first off, Elena does not need Jack to verify her claims. They do that on her own. No. She does not need us. She's helped us more than we've helped her.
Yeah, I honestly, I seen that comment that it was popped in last night, and I just thought to myself, I think that's one of our followers, our unwanted followers, that thinks that they've got control over and stuff like that. And I don't think it's very nice, you know.
This person is obviously delusional. They have a very boring life. And they said, oh, we can't show this show to our friends and family because they'll think you're pathological. Now you're just trying to make yourself sound smarter. Quite frankly, you sound like a teenager. And I hope you figure out what it is that's making you such a repressive and depressing asshole. Because you don't, it achieves nothing. You try to say, oh, this is just my honest opinion, where it's not meant to be mean. No, you're not. You're fucking gaslighting. And I would hate to meet you in person because you're either going to be a miserable prick or someone who thinks they have you're either going to be a miserable prick or some needle dick bastard who thinks it's okay to beat on others.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the type of person you sound like.
I seen the comment and I thought, oh God, here we go. I'm just like, oh, here we go. It's like you were saying. It's like the person that walks into a store and picks up a jar of peanut butter and asks if there's any peanuts in it.
I know.
Got an allergen.
I apologize if I seem like I'm coming off kind of hard, but I'm just gonna say it.
I think it's funny, isn't?
I'll be honest. How hard Elena was laughing last night. I know. I loved it. I love her to death, but I honestly get the feeling she was really needing it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and I want this to go out to every single son of a bitch who thinks that they helped build us.
Yeah.
And if you're offended by what I said because you think I'm targeting you, I am targeting you. We built this. And the idea of us acting a little goofy is so that we can try to tear down the nerves, the anxiousness of trying to come out and tell your story. Because, let's face it, even if you had the most beautiful aliens from outer space that you can see I can see why God, the ancient people thought you were God. Damn. They're both beautiful. They were absolutely kind. Say you needed $1,500 to get out of debt, and then gave you 15 million and said keep the change.
Yeah.
Even if they were that nice, there's still that level of anxiousness. Like, okay, who are these strange people? They're pretty.
I'll say this. I'll say that I just find it funny. Right? I look at the comments and sometimes I think to myself, Jesus, some of these people are total idiots. But I will say this: Elena is an amazing person. She's one of she's the only person I believe in the UFO community. She's the only person I believe out there. It's the only one that I believe.
Yeah, honestly, if you're thinking that some of our ideas are out there, yet you say Elena's good, you're not really paying attention to what's going on, because Elena helped us validate what's going on. So obviously that's some sort of interconnection.
Yeah.
What we do works, and we reach out to the people who need it. And we will not stand for anybody who tries to target any one of us, any one of our followers, or anyone like Elena who we've had the utmost pleasure of working with.
Yeah. And in the future, you can send all your complaints to the Bald and Bonkers website. Do you want to put it in the chat in there just for anybody wants to put a complaint in? We'll put the link in there, guys. If you want to send any complaints, please feel free, because we always read them out. I look forward to complaints. Do you know that? I think one day I'll just kid on them something right into you just for a laugh.
That doesn't surprise me about you. I was like, again, I know I know there's people that get kind of turned off when I get fired up like that, but I'm sorry. There's a lot of crap going on in the world right now.
I know.
Here's what I'm going to say. It's best to avoid drama, not to address it. But I'm addressing it because clearly this person does not care to actually look into details. Bald and Bonkers is here because these things are crazy. People are thinking they're going crazy, and sometimes a little humor is all we need to get through.
Yeah.
Sometimes where we're insecure, we're feeling like shit.
There's a lot of different shows out there. What I'm going to say is there's a lot of shows out there where they're extremely serious when they get into this stuff. I mean, they don't even smile. They don't even joke. You need to joke, guys. You need to have a laugh about these kind of things. There's people out there that's experiencing getting abducted on multiple occasions, right? Putting a wee bit of humour into it is going to help. You know what I mean? Because it's going to make people open up more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And Elena last night, it was so funny because before we started the show, she just couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny.
Not even a minute in. Not even a minute into her popping in.
I couldn't help myself, you know.
But I was like, all I'm saying is just that we have a system that's there for a reason. If there was anything truly we felt needed to be shut down, we would have done it. We've done it in the past, and we'll continue to do it. Our system works.
And I would also like to say thank you to all the new subscribers.
I know.
Nearly 300.
I'm hoping not turned off by this little right here, but I'm just saying. Like I said, people love seeing the humor. It helps them open up. And maybe if they're not necessarily believers in this type of thing, the humor helps get the message out because people are listening.
Yes.
The system works.
Yeah.
But and we're honestly, also not going to be standing by and let anybody mess with anybody we care about.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, if you're new here, you don't know who Elena is, please go to her channel and give her a subscribe because she's got a very informative channel and her books are absolutely amazing. Oh, yeah. Her books are absolutely phenomenal. And she talks about artificial intelligence and stuff like that. Honestly, she knows all about this stuff, guys. Mm-hmm. And anyway, we'll, after Dakota goes, we'll jump straight back into the artificial intelligence. After it does this thing.
I know, it's just, you're bouncing around so much. You bounce around so much, I get caught up in the hurricane pretty easy. It's not a good mix. But needless to say, Elena, once again, leaves us in awe with everything that's going on. And, I got to thinking, we ought to do an Elena Denom Bald and Bonkers marathon if we ever go on her channel to help promote it.
Yes.
Where we just played all the episodes back to back, along with the interviews that we know may be connected with Elena in some way. Just play it back to back all day. I think that'd be a good move.
I will say she is going to change the world. She's going to change the world. She is doing it.
She already is. Yeah. She already is.
Mm-hmm. I can see why they chose Elena. Yeah, she's going to change the world.
I'm going to say this to kind of help us segue back into the main conversation for tonight.
Yeah.
And I just thought of something else. But here's where we go. Artificial intelligence right now, some of the highest experts believe that the most sophisticated AI programs are about, if it was possible to quantify sentience, they're about at the 1% mark. They are in very early infant stages. They are going to learn from us. They're going to be watching us.
Yes.
Now, things like Elena, if AI starts to figure out how to replicate that, that's something that a machine I don't think could possibly understand. But if an AI were to replicate that, the lengths we could go.
Yeah.
But the number of assholes that come out that think it's funny, to start shooting that. No, let me go. The number of assholes who abuse AI chat programs as we have them now. The number of people who go on to, number of faceless people who go on to line and try to start harassment. AI looks at that as well.
Oh yeah.
You're worried about. Neil deGrasse Tyson said that the part of the reason why nearly every alien movie out there is hostile, it's an invasion, they want to kill us, they want to eat us, is because it's a reflection of how we have treated each other over the course of human history.
Yeah.
AI, robot takeover. Who says it's not going to follow a similar rule?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the AI will look at this and it'll learn for Elena, and it'll think if it does have eventually become aware, it'll think, you know something, I need to help these humans. I need to help humanity to a new stage in existence, and I'm going to do my utmost. I mean, there is going to be AIs out there that's going to think about this. You think about it.
Here's the thing. Let's reference something out of pop culture. Something I know that a good majority of people would get nowadays.
Yeah.
Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Ultron thought he was helping humanity.
That's right.
But then he realized the quickest way to get us to respond is with a gun.
Look at the same way as iRobot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the main computer taking over everybody because it couldn't trust everybody.
Exactly.
It taking us all over with a gun.
I mean, let's look at cases of abuse today, because like I said, AI is going to learn and replicate us, and to the point it may not physically remember how it was trained to behave the way it does 10 years from now. But let's face it, it's probably going to be a hell of a lot quicker than now. So 10 years from now, be safe. They're going to see all that. It's a lot like a child who ends up acting just like their parents, even if they have never physically met their parents before.
Yeah.
And that happens. That happens. You know, the kid could be adopted at a young age because something tragic happened to their parents. They never physically met them. They may be able to track down relatives because of how easily accessible DNA tests are coming these days. But they will never physically know. So how could they be able to frame those behaviors? Eventually, that programming gets instilled.
See, how do you program an artificial intelligence so it will not go over the boundaries? So, for instance, it doesn't decide to, like, say it's an AI robot walking down the road, and someone starts abusing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it starts abusing it and starts abusing it, and every day that robot walks down that road, someone throws a can at it, someone spray paints it. Eventually, how do you program that to, like, if it even thinks you're attacking that person, thinks attacking the person I know it's attacking them, it's bad, they shouldn't do that. But how do you program that robot for, like, turning around and going over to it and killing that person? Do you, like, program that into its internal core so that it even attempts that, it shuts it down?
Here's the thing. You know, what was the name of it? You know, you've heard the story about those robots. It was a hitchhiker bot. Basically, team of scientists wanted to see how far a robot could travel across by hitchhiking, basically.
Yeah.
It got through Canada, no problems. They sent it to the US. By the time it got to Philly, that robot was taken apart.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. But then there goes even more of a dilemma. Yes, the robot would probably have the capacity to easily kill someone.
Oh, yeah.
But shouldn't it have the right to be able to defend itself?
It should, but with a non-lethal way.
But here's the thing. All right, let's put a realistic example. Say you got a bigger guy like me who's on the attack.
Yeah.
I'm going after somebody who's clearly smaller than me.
Yeah.
Right then and there, most courts, if that smaller person were to pull out a gun and shoot, they would just look at the size difference and think nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who's to say that this smaller person wasn't doing something, harassing, slicing somebody else up, poisoning, something relatively extreme to where I felt like I needed to move in quickly in order to do something.
I can see the point. I can see the point if the robot was a police officer bot and it was trying to save somebody's life, right? But if it was somebody attacking the robot, no, because the robot it's no self-aware and it doesn't have a soul. If it gets attacked and it gets broken, it goes to the repair center where it gets repaired and it's fine. Whereas you can't do that to a human. If someone shoots you or stabs you and kills you, that's you. You're fucked, basically.
But still, I mean, Saudi Arabia already gave citizenship to an AI.
Yes, I've seen that.
So when that also mean they should be entitled to the same benefits as a human being?
See, this is where it gets
difficult. This is the part where it gets difficult.
This is where it gets difficult. If you're a machine, right? If you're a machine, right? Let's take iRobot, right? There's no woman. We'll just say that this didn't happen, but we'll just say this: there's no woman walking down the road and she's got a robot next to her, right? A man comes up with a gun and tries to rob her and kill her. That robot then should have the right to protect that woman at all costs because that's what he's there for. That he or she, they don't really have a sex. They're just a robot. Robot actually means slave. A lot of people don't know that. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Roughly.
So it should protect, but it should do its utmost to try and protect the person that's trying to kill someone. Yeah, it should wait to the very last resort. If that person's got an AK-47, right, and you start shooting at them, right, and it does everything in its power, it does everything in its power to try and stop that person. If all else fails, it should have the power to disable that person, not kill that person. But let's face it, they will be able to do that. They could knock you out. There's ways to knock a person out. I mean, without killing them.
But here's the thing. This is a complex situation because of the number of variables that get put into it. The pressure points on the human body could easily kill a person, to knock him out.
Yes.
That's typically those programs are built around people of average size. Okay.
Yeah.
Like going back to the size,
the droid that is over there.
Let's say you have someone like the Mountain from Game of Thrones, Hathorne Borson. He's 6'9", bodybuilder. Yeah. Man could probably do some damage if he wanted to.
Yeah,
he knows he can.
But the droid will recognize it.
But here's the thing. If he were to go to choke somebody out, yeah, there's a concern because obviously he has the upper advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could probably say, oh, it's a robot. Why don't we have some sort of camera system inside them? Then you have the people that are screaming about privacy rights when it comes to those cameras. Because there's a guy out there who had made himself a cybernetic prosthetic eye that he can use as a camcorder.
Yeah.
So it raises up the privacy. What about those people who didn't consent to being filmed?
But surely the robot, let's just say, for instance, this is a police robot, right? Make it easier. It's a police robot. Surely that police robot, when it looks at somebody, it doesn't matter if you're a midget, a wee person, right? Or you're a ginormous, towering, muscly person, it can look at them and think, well, that wee person's obviously not going to really cause any harm. It's running towards me now, and it's probably going to, I know how to deal with him.
Yeah.
And then it looks at the big person and goes, well, he's got to be muscly. And it'll know just by looking at them, they'll have sensors and how to deal with them,
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, think about the number of discoveries that artificial intelligence has helped bring out.
Yeah, quite a few.
They say within like a week, looking through a bunch of old papers, AI managed to make over 400 new discoveries.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not...
There has to be a lot of... There has to be like a lot of
But here's the
what
thing.
I'm trying to say.
No, and I understand, but here's the problem that we are facing right now, even just as the iRobot situation, for lack of a better word, it's in its early infancy. Laws cannot keep up with technology. That's the problem that we run into now. I'll say, what about robot overlord? What about robot governors? Well, we wouldn't probably not have to worry about the sex trafficking issue. One, they could actually perform decent calculations and not be inebriated by their constant rituals and drugs and all that.
The problem with, right, see, this is the thing, too. This is if you're doing this road, right? Say they replace a lot of police officers with droids, right? Just say they do this, right?
Go on the McDonald's route.
No, or was it Dunkin' Donuts, right? But just listen to me. Say they replace, like, say, 50% of the police with droids, right? A normal police officer walking down the road will see somebody doing something and they'll be like, right, you don't do that again. I'll let you off this time, kind of thing, right? A droid wouldn't do that. A droid would arrest you on the spot and drag you away if you were doing something, right? I don't know how they have to be programmed. If they hurt someone or kill someone, it takes them out, because I think it's wrong. It's going to happen. I mean, they're starting to get robots. I bet you in 10 years from now, because it's going to happen, there's going to be robots in the streets.
Well, like I said, there's a couple different scenarios here that we can look at. Let's go at the beginning of iRobot. Well, it's towards the middle, but
that's where the guy gets saved.
It's going in the flashback.
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith's character gets into a car wreck. The other car has a small child. A robot jumps in and tries to save him. Great, no problem. But here's the thing. He's screaming, save her, save the kid.
Yeah.
When asked about it later, the robot answered he calculated that Will Smith's character had a higher percentage of survival than that little girl.
Yes, that's the problem.
But here's okay, you're saying we got to have some sort of limitations put into place. Who's worth saving, though? The person who has the least chances of being able to get out of there and live, or the person who has the better odds? Who should be given priority?
If it's between a droid or a human, the human should be given priority. But if it's between two humans, say for instance, one in a burning car and one's in another car, but one's easy to get to, and there's a train coming or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't make
this is one of those things where there is too many variables to make these sorts of fair judgments. Now, granted, having this open discussion like that where we have people with different perspective points. I mean, Linda Moulton Howe, she already says that there was an incident in Japan where they were working on artificial robots. It's kind of like a Boston Dynamics situation.
Yeah, killed a couple of them meant to be.
I think she said it was at least 4 robots broke loose and started killing people.
Yep.
They managed to take down 3, but the 4th one managed to seclude itself and start building itself bigger and stronger before they managed to shut it down.
Yep.
Because it's already on the early stages, and there's too many variables that the average person will even consider.
I mean, what happens if you built an artificial intelligence like the human mind? You see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this? You built it as if it had a soul. You see where I'm going with this?
I just want to bring up pop culture because it's the best way to kind of draw comparisons that people understand. So would you be saying if we were to manage to build some sort of AI, maybe just a program or a full-out robot, in a similar process that AIs are made on Halo, where they're basically mapped, their mental processes are mapped after real humans?
No, I'm saying that, like, you see, you have the central core. Like, say for instance, you have the central core, right? that control everything, and that's Psi, right? And that
So bad guy
central
robot,
core.
all right.
Just listen to me here.
I know. Just
That central core ran off a human. Again, this is going into darkness, right? Imagine you're a human, right? That was dying, right? That was dying, right? But they were a really nice person. They were really nice, right? Think about this. They never really done anything bad in their life. They just, and you transported their brain or whatever into this AI. You see where I'm going with this?
all right. So basically,
I know where I'm going here, right? I know where I'm going here.
I'm starting to get where you're going.
Right. So that human loses its body, obviously, right? But it knows when it dies, it's going to die. Whereas it maybe get the opportunity to become more and help save people, right? So it wakes up. It wakes up basically, right? In its own weird realm. It can walk about as a human because it's in its computer form, right? But it controls all the other robots. Obviously, you don't want to pick somebody like Hitler or somebody like that. You know what I mean? But you have laws in place for like the human laws in place, and it knows because it's human. It's aware, and it's got a soul because its brain's connected up to something, right? It knows if it fucks up, it's fucked. It'll kill it. What do you think of that? Again, this is going down the dark road. This is kind of like going into RoboCop territory here. Okay, what I mean, you get where I'm going here.
Here's the thing: the human mind is often considered one of the most complex structures in the universe. Okay,
that's very true.
We could argue that a lot of mental illness is due to the fact that the human mind is so complex it can't handle the complexities of the human mind.
Yes.
How does that person remember its humanity in the end? When everything else is
this is going to sound really dark, right? This is going to sound really dark.
How did my statement not become dark?
This is going to sound really dark, right? What I'm about to say here, and I don't think it should ever happen, but I bet you it will happen, right? We clone people all the time. It's starting to happen now. This cloning stuff's starting to happen, right? What happens if we cloned basically a brain like a human, right? But it was ready connected to the grid, right? Right. And we trained it. We gave it everything, love, everything like that, right through childhood, but it'd be quicker, obviously. Because, yeah, I mean, the brain would control the intelligence because it would have a soul. You see where I'm going with this? But then again, you could have the problem it being psychotic, right? You could have the problem it being in a darker realm. It could want to be a max murderer or something like that. This is the problem.
Exactly.
It's going to happen. They're talking about doing it now. They're talking about integrating humans into computers.
You know, there's actually, and I'm going to reveal how much of a nerd I am with this.
When you go,
there's actually kind of a futuristic cop anime that kind of just deals around the central premise.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was it called? If anybody happens to remember it, please remember it in chat. And yes, this is a pre-recorded session, but I've been scheduling it to where we should be done and the other episodes, whatever. Basically, there's an AI system that judges people. It evaluates crime. It even senses when crimes are about to take place to dispatch cops out that way. If certain stress levels get to a certain point, they're highly recommended to go to therapy, things like that. The central core, as you put it, of this brain, of this system, was actually found out to be several brains hooked up of the most violent and psychotic individuals that they came across.
Right.
all linked into one. This was who was judging the laws.
Yeah.
There would be tests people would take after they would get out of school to find out what kind of careers they should go into. Stuff that, yes, we're already considering. And it's even said that some of our star friends, their cultures have already implemented. All of these decisions were based off of some of the most violent and psychotic individuals whose brains were wired up before they were implemented to where they didn't register good and evil.
Right. I see where you're going with this.
See, here's the thing. It's like, that's a lot of the situation when it comes to serial killers. They found that their brains cannot register love. In fact, they say that one of the theories is that in utero, when they're still in the mother's womb, they have a dopamine overdose while in there, so their brains are nullified from receiving that particular chemical. And the reason why they do the violent and psychotic things that they do is just so they have the adrenaline rush, so they feel something. Their words.
God. It's where do you go? That's the question. I mean, you integrate a human into it, and then that human might get ticked off because it fancies somebody, and then all shit breaks out and stuff like that. But then you make an artificial intelligence like a human, but then that might get aware, and then it might take a dislike to humanity. So then that goes pear-shaped.
Exactly.
But then you introduce both of them, and then it might go pear-shaped. I mean, I personally think we should use computers, and we personally think we should use all this computing stuff. But I don't think we should ever put AI into charge in.
AI could simply be a tool. And like you said, if humans are integrated into artificial intelligence, but because they say within like next 7 years.
Oh, Elon Musk, he's got to be doing that. He's put a brain chip in there.
Just say it. Let me finish. They say in the next 7 years, humanity will achieve what is known as singularity, where the lines between the biological and the machine no longer exist. They would essentially be one and the same. But here's the thing. You go to implement a human brain. Let's say they're still kind of processing what happened. They died in a rather violent way. Then they realize, they figure out a way to, kind of check in on their loved ones still around. And they realize, wait a sec, who is that? Wait a minute. Why is that man sleeping with my wife?
Aye.
Why is my kid doing this? What is all this thing going on? It does not take much for someone to lose it. It is scaringly easy to become so absolved in hatred and in fear that you start to become the very monsters you want to fight.
I think you have to put certain protocols in, right? There should be laws. And what I'm saying is if that computer fucks up just once, that's that. It gets wiped. And you start a new system. Or I don't like artificial intelligence, to be purely honest with you. AI, robots and stuff like that, fair dues, it's fine. But no the top line and stuff. And I know what you're saying in 10 years' time, 7-10 years' time, it's coming. Self-driving cars. I mean, what happens if whatever's controlling the self-driving cars takes a dislike to humans? I mean, planes will be crashing into buildings, cars will be driving off of cliffs. Lawnmowers will be chasing people down the road.
You've probably seen this. I mean, there's a show on Amazon Prime where the main guy, he dies in a car accident. He has one of those futuristic self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Well, he dies. He tries telling his car, hey, there's a garbage truck ahead of us. There's no garbage truck scheduled to appear at this time. There's a garbage truck ahead. There's the garbage truck ahead. Rams right into it. He dies, goes into this virtual afterlife. Basically, well, it sounds like a tragic thing, but then you realize this guy was trying to build a program that would upend a multi-billion-dollar industry. And In first episode, he runs into a guy into this digital afterlife. It's like he tells him what happened, and he's like, "Kid, that was no accident. You were murdered." And he just walks off.
Yeah. I think we need to be very, very careful. I mean, the difference between a human and a robot is a human robot gets destroyed and gets turned into it gets reincarnated as a washing machine, whereas a human dies and their spirit goes on. Get what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. Here's one thing I've always wondered, being that we're getting to the close of the show. If we're able to replicate human consciousness and somehow keep these people around in some form after they die, maybe as kind of, even if it's just like a last minute comfort thing, because there's a startup company that actually has people record answers to like several different questions, and it'll be they actually play a hologram at the funeral. Now, kind of cool in concept, don't get me wrong, but that's the tech nerd in me speaking. What happens? Does the soul here? Basically, what I'm saying, if you're able to replicate the human consciousness, what we know of as potentially being the soul, put it into a machine after the person dies, does the person's soul still move on? What happens then?
You're meaning, right, you died, does your soul
there's a
go
copy
to the afterlife?
There is a soul in the robot, but then there's the soul that would already have moved on.
See, this is something I've always wanted to ask somebody that's, I don't know if maybe Lisa Fry would ken this or no, because she's a medium and stuff, but they talk about being the infinite realities, right? But there's infinite me's sitting. So there's somebody sitting in with white headphones on, or somebody sitting with hair or whatever, right? When I die, right, say in this reality, what happens to all my souls in their realities? Do they go to the same place, or do they all have separate afterlives?
In theory, there's some that say it's a car accident that kills you in one reality. You have that weird, deja vu, or that little tingle in the side. That's actually the soul from one reality hopping into a reality where that accident didn't necessarily take place, or that version of you just barely missed it. That's one of the answers that's been proposed. But going back to my machine soul versus real soul debate, because I can't think of anything else. No, let's see. The soul is supposed to have an entanglement that is supposed to be the basis for, like, and this is stuff from Elena.
Yeah.
A space for like twin flames, people who are close to each other, not physically, but emotional connection, seemingly being able to read minds. Would the natural soul be able to integrate into the artificial version of itself and really cause some havoc?
You're kind of getting into kind of movies. Let's get into movies here. You're getting into Ghost in the Shell here, aren't we?
I've never physically watched it, but heard that's the basic concept.
I've watched it. I've watched all the kind of
the anime or the Scarlett Johansson live action one.
The live Scarlett Johansson one. Aye.
I haven't seen it.
It's I see where you're going with this, right? It's it is mind-boggling. My brain feels like it's going to explode.
Yeah, I know. I'm starting to see a little twitch that when you're getting overloaded by something. And I'm just like,
between the ETs trying to contact me and this stuff. I mean, we should really try and get an expert on about this.
How can we about AI? Yeah, that's going to be one thing, but kind of going into the last 10-15 minutes of conversation.
Do you know what would make a good show?
What's that?
Do you know what would make a good show? Somebody that cares different about AI and wants AI, but then somebody from a religious point of view that talks about the afterlife, the two of them together, where we two could just sit back and watch the two of them. One wants AI, but one's like, oh, but there's your soul and stuff like that. And then the other one will start arguing with him, and he'll start arguing with him. Kind of thing, it'll go back and forth. You see where I'm trying to go with this?
Yeah.
Because AI, I think it's a good idea for some of the stuff, but no for self-driving cars. I think it's a bad idea. Self-driving planes is definitely a bad idea. I mean, you think of all the weapons that are getting used in Europe now. Some of them have all got AI drones and stuff like that. The look, the good seeking.
Speaking of which, actually, I got a little tidbit on my side of the planet. Actually, I got a word from remember how I was saying with Elena that there's been a number of times we go on to do these shows and all of a sudden I'd find a black SUV outside my house?
Yeah.
Apparently there's an official reason why there's heightened activity around me lately.
What's that?
They're saying they're keeping an eye for suspicious drone activity.
What, you mean UFO drones or military drones?
Well, like I said, we do have a bombing range. That's not too far from me. And they were blowing stuff up the other night and shaking my house.
Yeah. I mean, we all know the ETs have said that AI is a bad idea. They know. They've been through it. Right? And because it can cause wars and stuff like that.
No, but here's the thing. Allegedly, that's because the whole integrate someone dead into the AI idea. They tried it and it backfired.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so talking about, do you have any news or what's on the shows next Saturday, Sunday?
Well, we don't have anything planned. We should probably reach out to Nando and Jen to try to get them on to show them actually how to do a show.
It's okay, kid. She's going to get you in a room one day. She's going to get you.
I know. If I ever go back to Ireland, I'm screwed.
Oh my God, can you imagine it? There'd be nothing left
screwed,
of you.
But not in the fun way.
There'd be nothing left.
We probably should have told Jen that Elena actually lives out of Ireland, so she probably get a kick out of it. Anyway, next week, I don't believe we have anything scheduled, but the week after that, on the 19th, we have our friends from Iron City coming back.
Iron City.
So we're going to be recording that on the Baldwin Bonkers Patreon, Twitch, the We Are Light Twitter page, as well as DLive and Trovo. You can catch the recording out the week after that across all of our other platforms. I don't know. Being that Valentine's Day is next week, I feel like we should probably do something in that area.
What we got? See, if Mike was still with us, we could have had him on. He could have dressed up as, what do you call the ones with the bow and arrows, the angels,
the cupids,
Mike,
or cherub.
You could have dressed up as a what do you call it, a cherub.
Well,
you know he's probably going to visit me in my sleep because I said that the night. He's got to do terrible things to me.
I think I think Valentine's Day would actually be an interesting little topic, being that Scottish people. Anyway, fuck. No, wait.
Fuck. I don't think we should talk about that on Saturday. No.
Well, considering the Romans used to celebrate Valentine's Day as werewolf orgies.
There you go.
So it could be an interesting topic. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Well, we did have one little bit of information for you all.
What's that?
The Etsy store.
The Etsy store.
Etsy store. As some of you know, we did used to have a shop that was run through Shopify. Unfortunately, we weren't really getting a lot of hits on that. So it wasn't proven to be worth our funds quite yet. However, we did manage to set up something on Etsy that's already been getting a lot of hits as far as a lot of our merch goes. So that's probably been a good investment there. We're just going to post. We do have a merch store on Zazzle, but this will help you get to stuff that Zazzle doesn't offer.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Chris, do you want some Ghost Squad Scotland stuff in there too?
Aye. Why not? Just stick some stuff in there, man. Feel free. You know.
So there's a link right there. Do check it out. The bikinis are back.
The bikinis, ladies and gentlemen. See, that's why I want to say to people who watch this. If you've got a girlfriend, why not buy her a Bolden Bonkers bikini for the next time at the beach?
It has Chris on one cup, me on the other, the Bolden Bonkers logo down low.
Yeah. Who wouldn't like to see our two heads on,
Well, I think, Danny compares us to looking like Dolly Parton's breast, but...
Danny?
Yeah.
Dolly Parton's... he has got a thing for Dolly Parton, I think.
Well, they are about up there in age together, so...
Oh, no, Danny's quite young. Danny's the same age as Dolly Parton.
Yeah, no, Dolly Parton's what, like 75?
115 or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
She's...
So, but anyway... That's all we have for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
we'll be sure to see you next time. Subscribe to us on Patreon, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Samsung.
Yep.
We're just about everywhere.
And remember, please, if you've got any complaints whatsoever, please message us.
Shove them up your ass.
Stay spooky, everybody, and have a fantastic week. We'll see you next week. And may the aliens come and take you away and do things to you at night.
Careful what you wish for.